On today's podcast, I'm talking about the skills of resilience that are needed to help us all weaponize a spirit of calm so that we can more gracefully navigate our way through the obstacles and challenges we're facing.
Welcome back to the Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world.
Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast, wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today. Welcome in. So glad you are here. We're in Season 9, which means we have over 290 episodes of the Thermostat Podcast now. So if you are new to the podcast, welcome in. So glad you're here. So glad this continues to grow and spread the way that it does. I invite you to go back, check out old episodes. Just Google my name, Jason Barger. Any topic that you're looking for in terms of leadership, culture, clarity of mission, vision, values, trust, accountability, communication, courageous conversations, emotional, whatever that is that comes to your mind, Google it, and chances are you're going to find an episode and many episodes in that 290 that hopefully resonate with you. If you're one of the OGs that have been with us from the very beginning of this podcast, so glad this continues to add value to your life and your work. I invite you to also go back, check out some of the past episodes, or re-listen to them again because there's so much great stuff in here, content. Been so grateful and fortunate to have some amazing guests join me on this, friends of mine and people that I really admire the way they think. And so I hope you'll go back and check those out. My promise to you, as always, is that I want this to be a place for you, the listener, to be able to step back, to be able to think about your life, your work, to think about the temperature you're trying to set, and also to have a little bit of oxygen breathed into you, so that you can make some adjustments, calibrate your own thermostat, and take the next step in your life, in your work. Before we dive into today, if you will do me the quick favor, if you'll rate the podcast 5 stars, of course, on whatever platform you're using. If you'll write an authentic review in your own words on whatever platform you use, that's a really helpful way for the algorithms to, and also for other people. We live in a world now where people want to see reviews and all that and read about them. So if why is this podcast a good one to you? Why are the topics relevant in the world that we live in today? In your own words, authentically, that's really helpful. And then the last way you can help, if you want, is to just share the podcast with your colleagues, your friends, people in your life or your work that you say, hey, this is one that I suggest you listening to, or as a team, hey, let's listen to an episode and then let's talk about it. How it's relevant to what we're doing. Those are the ways in which the podcast continues to grow and spread. So appreciate everybody who rates, reviews, and shares the podcast. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed yet, thanks for doing that. Appreciate that very, very much. I'm often asked about the state of the workplace in the world. People see the fortunate role I get to play by being in and out of many different kinds of organizations across industries. I get to play a role in helping to develop leaders, to help them develop proactively the culture that they want to create within their organization, and also to find clarity around mission, vision, and values. A lot of people only get to experience the singular organization that they work with. And again, they get really tunnel vision and they have the experience that they have, but oftentimes it might be just isolated to the organization that they work for. I'm fortunate that I get to see many different perspectives across many different organizations. So I'm often asked about my perspective on what I'm seeing in the workplace and trends with people around the world, trends with developing people and culture and what's happening in organizations and the future of work and all of those kind of things. One of those trends I'm seeing is around the topic of resilience. With so much changing happening all around us, so many changing market conditions, challenges and obstacles that people are facing in their personal life, or disruptions to their business, or disruptions to their teams and organizations that people are feeling in their business, navigating the obstacles we all are facing is critical. It requires resilience. It requires mental toughness and grit. And I would say it requires courage. And there's so much that's been happening in the world, and certainly we go in and out of times where maybe you're experiencing great amounts of success and you're winning work, and there's a lot of things to celebrate. And then you might go through times in your life and your work where things aren't as easy, and there are challenges and obstacles. And it's our organizations that I say quite often, the places of our employment where so many people spend so much of the time that in their lives, at work. It's those spaces, the leaders and teammates that we encounter, that have the opportunity to have one of the biggest impact on us as humans. Both unfortunately, positively, of course, but also unfortunately negatively. And I choose to focus on the opportunity leaders and teams have to positively impact people's lives and help us create better work, better products, better services into the future, and just better environments for people to live and work in the world. We have the opportunity to help people flex these muscles of resilience and help people navigate their way through whatever those challenges and obstacles they might be facing. So, on today's podcast, I'm talking about the skills of resilience that are needed to help us all weaponize a spirit of calm so that we can more gracefully navigate our way through the obstacles and challenges we're facing. But before we take a deeper dive, let's pause, take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
Many of my listeners know that I'm a basketball fan. Well, just recently, back in June, the NBA Finals, professional basketball finals just wrapped up when the eventual world champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, won the world championship. But in game one of the finals, in a 7-game series, the game one was stolen out from underneath them right at the end of the game on their home floor by the Indiana Pacers. The Oklahoma City came into the series. It's tied 0-0. They're at home. The Indiana Pacers come in, and in front of Oklahoma City's home crowd, Indiana Pacers steal game one, and all of a sudden that shocked the media. It shocked most of the basketball world. And afterwards, after game one of them losing in the finals, the MVP of the league and Oklahoma City star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sat at the tension-filled press conference answering questions about things like, did they choke? what happened when they had a lead in the game, and then at the very end of the game, they gave it away. And Indiana kind of came back, and at the very end of game one, they steal the game. And then, all these questions about maybe the Indiana Pacers are a team of destiny. And questions about what does your team need to do next to not lose this momentum and lose this great opportunity. You're in the finals, a chance to win the world championship, and all of a sudden, did you guys choke? Did you give it away? What happened? And as all these questions were flying at him, he's the MVP of the league, the star of the team, and it's right after this very contentious and moment that nobody was happy about. His answer to all of these questions was, we're going to weaponize calm. He said, we are going to weaponize calm. I loved that phrase. He said, calm is going to be our weapon. We're not going to overreact. We're not going to freak out. We're not going to point fingers at our teammates, make up stories that are laced with negativity, or spend our energy jumping to conclusions about what this is going to mean for our future. We're not going to, even in the midst of losing game one in a 7-game series on our home court, when everybody thinks we're supposed to win this, and now everybody's panicking because we lost, and then asking all these questions of what's wrong with us and getting us to try to point the finger at who was to blame and what. He said, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to weaponize calm. We're going to pull together. We're going to go back to work, and we're going to trust in who we are and what we're capable of next. Calm will be our weapon. Well, what was the result? The result, of course, if you tuned in, but if not, I'll refresh your memory. The Oklahoma City Thunder went on to win Game 2 and eventually win the series and world championship in Game 7 on their home court. They weaponized calm. When I think about my own life and when there have been obstacles and challenges in front of me, I didn't know this phrase, but when I think about it, the times in my life where I've had challenges and obstacles and things that I wasn't sure how I was going to navigate, I've tried my best to weaponize calm. When I think about leadership teams and organizations that I've worked with that have faced significant challenges along their path, only to come out stronger on the other end, if you look at what they did and how they navigated their way through those things, they weaponized calm to get there. I know that many of my listeners right now may be going through something difficult right now in their personal life. I know that many of my listeners right now may be experiencing obstacles, challenges, and disruptions on their team or in their business. I know that many people are stressed, anxious, uncertain right now as they look at a very ambiguous future. It might be a great time to encourage all of us to weaponize calm. On the next podcast episode next week that I'm going to do, I'm going to be deconstructing some traditional ideas around mental toughness and the bravado that many people in leadership roles sometimes share. But for today, I want to focus on the words grit and resilience. Grit is having courage in the present moment, whatever you're going through, to show up with actions that help you withstand the pressure that you might be facing. Grit is the ability to hang in there, put one foot in front of the other, and show courage in this moment to not break and fall apart. Resilience extends beyond the present moment. So we might show a level of grit in the present moment, but resilience is really the stacking of each of those moments, one right after the next. It's the process of navigating those obstacles and challenges over a longer period of time. It is the stretching, the preparation, the mindset, and the daily practices that help us withstand the pressures over the long haul. Weaponizing calm requires grit in the moment, but also tremendous practice and discipline over the longer process of time. Our organizations and the leaders and teams we work with, they play a major role in helping us flex these muscles of grit and resilience. They help us teach us how is it that we're going to weaponize calm, and how do we face the challenges and obstacles that we are, and show up and go through them together so that we can build a better tomorrow. So as I've talked about it, in a past episode, our organizational cultures become the shelter we provide for people. And the proactive question is, well, what kind of shelter do you want to provide for your people on the road ahead? If you didn't hear that episode, you can go back and just Google the shelter we provide for our people, Jason Barger, and you'll find that episode. But the question is, well, what kind of shelter do we want to provide? What kind of culture do you hope to create? What type of impact do you want to have on the people that you employ? Or again, if you're thinking about this, the people in your family, in your life, however you're coming to this podcast today. Your culture, the thinking, acting, and interacting of everyone around you provides shelter for your people and the opportunity to help them learn how to practice, acknowledge, and grow their level of grit, in the present moment and their resilience over time. And guess what? Better results follow. That as we get in the habit of practicing these daily practices and exercises and help us face challenging things and learn how to do them better, we build up a level of strength that helps us, again, have grit for the present moment, but resilience for that longer journey we might be on. So a few of the things that I think about, and if you've ever read my book, Remember, the second book that I ever wrote called Remember, it's really about the practice of bringing our minds back to remembering from a cognitive approach what are the most important things, my mission, my purpose, the person I'm trying to be, the culture we're trying to be, in the midst of a very highly distracted world, bringing our focus and our attention back to, on a daily basis, what are those things we need to remember, and then what are active, actual actions and behaviors we would put into place if we were to renew the memberships in our life, the things that we want to focus on. And so I talk about this, that part of this process of practicing this grit and resilience in the present moment, but for the long haul, is that we've got to get in the habit of doing four things. These four things are, one is we need to repurpose. Part of the practicing of this mindset, the flexing of these muscles in our brains and in our bodies, is to remind ourselves to repurpose, to take moments in our day and our week, over time, to take moments to return to and remind us of, let's not get distracted and caught up in everything that's happening around us, but to return to mission and purpose. Why do we exist, and what's the mission of what we're trying to accomplish? Don't get swept up in, first in what you're going to do, but begin first with, why are we doing this? And what is the compelling heart of who you are and who you're aiming to become? So the first part of kind of weaponizing this calmness is first stepping back to return to and remind ourselves and repurpose. Hold on, let me be rooted in mission and purpose. The second part of kind of this practice of practicing this kind of grit and resilience and maybe weaponizing this calm is to release. To release. We need to name the baggage that we're carrying. And you may remember on past episodes that I've done, I've talked about the 3 types of mental baggage that we all carry. Again, if you didn't hear that episode, you can Google Jason Barger and 3 types of mental baggage, and you can listen to that. But I talk about in great depth these kind of 3 types of mental baggage that we all individually carry, but also teams and organizations carry. And I talk about the difference between events, things that happen to us in our lives and our work that are out of our control, and then there's anxiety and stress and baggage that comes with it. I talk about consequences, things that we've played a role in that haven't gone the way that we hoped they would, and then there's stress and anxiety and baggage because of it. And then the last one, maybe the most significant, our own thoughts, the stories and narratives we tell ourselves. And all of us, individuals and also teams and organizations, we all carry baggage. And oftentimes it's a combination of all of those events, consequences, and these thoughts, these stories we tell ourselves. So if you want to dive deeper to that, I invite you to go back and listen to that episode. But part of practicing resilience for the long haul is acknowledging the baggage we might be carrying and seeing what we need to let go of and what we just need to carry in a smarter way. Sometimes there's baggage that we're carrying around, these thoughts, these stories we're telling, that we just need to remind ourselves that, hey, I got to release that. I can't carry this around anymore. It's not true. It's not helping. It's weighing me down. What can I just let go of? And then there might be other things that we can't necessarily let go of, but we need to find a better way to carry it. So part of this practicing, this weaponizing calm and practicing grit and resilience is not only each in the moment being able to repurpose and return to mission and purpose, but to also release, let go of that baggage that's weighing us down or carry it, in a more graceful way so that we can recast. Recasting is about, instead of being a prisoner of the moment, it's about recasting a vision for the future that's going to, of where it is that we're trying to go. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, after Game 1, instead of getting caught up in the heat of that moment and losing Game 1, he quickly recasted the vision to say, hey, this is still where we're trying to go. This is still who we are. And let's keep our eyes on where we're heading and give ourselves the fuel to get there. Let's not spend any energy on pointing fingers and blame and all the stuff of looking backwards. Let's make sure that we're looking forward in everything that we're doing. And so this idea that again, part of this grit and resilience and weaponizing calm is repurposing, returning to mission and purpose, releasing the baggage, and then in that moment recasting that vision. Well, who is it we're trying to be? Where is it we're trying to go? And then lastly, we've got to respond. We got to respond. We got to respond with action. What is within your control next? Part of weaponizing calm or navigating with grit and resilience is, what's within my control? And each small step helps you move forward even in the face of the obstacles and challenges you're facing. So you know that you can take a step forward, and it helps you kind of weaponize calm in the moment because there is something within your control. So SGA, again, the finger pointing, the blame, that was wasted time and baggage and energy. So let's respond. Let's go back to work. Let's pull together. Let's remind ourselves of the vision that's still in front of us. And then let's go put into practice, what are we going to do next in order to have grit in this moment, but resilience over the course of this 7-game series. Lastly, I'll just point out that if you study people that have navigated obstacles and challenges and been able to kind of weaponize this calm in the midst of showing grit and showing resilience over time, they also harness connections. They harness connections. We all need people with us along the way, people who believe in us, people who are in our corner, people that we can count on and we trust and they trust us, people that breathe good oxygen into us, help us see the future and identify next steps. We need people that we can be vulnerable with and admit, hey, I'm struggling right now. Or, you know what, that wasn't our best. That wasn't my best. We need people who love us. We need people who are on the journey with us so that we can then recast the next vision and respond and support each other with the action that's coming next. We are ambassadors for the life and the cultures that we want to create together, and we get to make them transformational with the people around us rather than just transactional relationships. Our organizations have the opportunity to be the shelter that we provide for people and the place where we help people learn how to practice this kind of cultural fitness. So, as always, I'll leave you with a couple of questions to ponder along the way. In what areas of your life and your work do you need to weaponize calm? In what areas of your life and work do you need to weaponize calm? What obstacles, baggage, or challenges are you facing? What is it that you might be carrying right now? And how can you practice and flex the muscles of resilience for the long haul of the journey? To repurpose, to release, to recast, and respawn while you harness the connections with the people around you. Cheers to you. Cheers to the path ahead for all of us. And I hope that today's episode got you thinking in some good ways. Hopefully it helps breathe a little oxygen in you to navigate whatever obstacles and challenges you might be facing, and encouragement for you to weaponize calm in your own life and work and respond with the kind of action that you're hoping for. So as always, if you've got any thoughts, questions, ideas, if we can be helpful to the development of the people and culture in your organization, you can track us down you can email us info@jasonvbarger.com, info@jasonvbarger.com. You can visit us on the jasonvbarger.com website. Shoot us a message, and somebody will get back in touch with you to figure out, how you're trying to develop the people, the culture, that clarity of mission, vision, and values in your organization. And again, hopefully that you'll take the time to rate the podcast, review the podcast, share the podcast with the people around you. And I appreciate everybody who has been a part of this journey, and we'll continue to create content, hopefully, that breathes some good oxygen into you. So last thing I'll remind you of is to step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.